begins, La, at the beginning, La. That dot exists between them. But he did this. He wrote this line. The writer wrote this line. He wrote the top line, I am the Lord your God that brought you out of a territory of limits and a house of bondage. Bondage is, plural, of Abed, servant. Servant, Abed, servant, or whatever. Plural, servants. He wrote that, then he writes the next one. He puts the dot there, he puts it out there. He writes the next one, La, Ta'asha, Laka, Pasel. Not have made to you a hang up. A hang up. What do you call that? It's like you stub your toe. You know, your shoelace gets caught. Something you have to get hung up on. You get hung up on. Oh shoot! Watch out for that bump right there. Watch out for that slippery rock. Don't make you hang up a trip, a stumbling block. Don't make you a stumbling block. To you, la ka. Can you see that?
Yeah.
La to ka you. To you. Look at that samik. That samik.
Yeah.
It looks like an S. There's a line. It's so interesting how it's almost it's an S with a line. That is a unique samik. I haven't seen one anywhere else. That samik is unique. Again, a dot. He starts writing again. He keeps on going. Somewhere along the line here, he realizes, oh shoot, I forgot a commandment. I just went from delivery from Egypt and the house of bondages, and or slaves or whatever, servants, the house of servants, and I started right into not making yourself a idol. You know, I started right into that, and then he realizes somewhere along the line. At what point? Like it looks like he continued to write. Not to take up. Not to uphold. Et down here, that's missing. The aleph is gone. The ta is there. Et Shem Yahweh, the name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Lord. Yeshua. Yeshua, for not. Or to nothing. Don't take it up to nothing. To vanity. To or for. For nothing or to nothing. But at what point does he realize that he skipped one, so he puts a diacritical mark here. He puts an arrow there. Seems he keeps right on going, but he puts that arrow there. He's already written this and put the dot and written this, and he puts a diacritical mark. And brings you back up and writes this, that I read you first. It not exists to you gods besides. You could say highest. Highest. My face is the highest. But I say it's upon my face. Upon is the better way to translate all. But you see what I'm saying? At what point did he realize he missed that and write it back in? He wrote it in between. So the original lines that he wanted to write were big like this.
Yeah.
And then he realized he forgot one and he had to squeeze it in between these two lines. And he did. Successfully.
And you know that just because of the diacritical mark.
Yeah.
Which is pointing to it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it could have been that he was going to squeeze them close and then decided, well, I got all this rock here, I might as well just spread them out. But he didn't do it that way.
Right, he then wouldn't have had to
Put the diacritical mark there, yeah.
But it wouldn't read right anyways, because it ends here. Et, eek, etik. Sa, vav, hu, hoots, etik. Hoots etik right here. Extracted you, squeezed you out. Like a pimple. Squeezed out you. I am the Lord your God, which this squeezed you out. I manually pushed you out from Eretz, territory, limitations, is the ground. He squeezed you out of the ground, the territory. Starting from the very beginning, it would be N-T. Inquire. Inquiry. Inquiry declares, proclaims. N key. N in inquiry. Key proclaims, declares. Yahuwah, he proving to be Elahik, your goal. Escher, selectively, which, the selecting process. Which one, which part, which, you know. Squeezed you out. From a territory. Locale. See how it has to come down and resume here. So the diacritical mark had to be there. It has to resume. You know, like it left off up here. It restarts down here. If you didn't have the diacritical mark, you would start reading here. You'd be like, what? Takes you. He squeezed you out of the out of territory. You've got no place now. That leaves you hanging, right? And then starts saying, not exist. Exists. Not he exists. God's besides upon my faith. You see, you'd have to, you know, because he wrote it already. So he meant to do it this way. You know, did he write the whole thing? Here's the question. Look at how it lines up. Line number 1 that's been effaced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did he write the whole thing? Every line is nice and equidistant. And then realize in rereading it that, oops, I forgot one whole commandment. And so he takes where the dot is, where the place is where he failed to realize and keep writing. He had plotted it in his mind beautifully. That if he did it right, it would be in 9 lines equally spaced. He had made it up ahead of time. But in execution, he made the error of skipping one whole commandment. So then when it was all done and he read it, he went back here and goes, oh, I've got to do a diacritical mark at this period and insert the missing line. Now here's the proof that the Hebrew people the dots that we see, because we see the dots in between, never at the end of anything. It is to separate from beginning to end. Nowhere else in epigraphical works do we see that it is a period at the end. We always see it in between words, like here's a word, and here's a word, and then there's a dot there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it ends, if something ends out on an end, you wouldn't normally put the dot there, because it's only there to separate between this word and this word. You need a dot to separate the end from the beginning. The question is, was the dot to mark the beginning of a point? So every commandment got a dot, law, remember, et yom, that day, remember that day. HaShabbat, the Sabbath. There's a key, here's an interesting word. For, Kodesh, making exceptional, keeping exceptional, setting apart, distinguishing. For you, him, it, him. For him, it would be better. I don't know, but we don't really say that, because instead of like the this is your sanctification. You are sanctifying it. It is sanctifying you. This is a neat thing right here. Inasmuch as you keep it an exception, you're exceptional. Inasmuch as you make it distinct, you are distinct. Inasmuch as it is exceptional, you are exceptional, Your distinguishment of it distinguishes you. It's a wonderful thing. The cessation, HaShabbat, the setting, sitting, set.